figure I'd do another quick update here. Been out here messing with this thing this weekend, some got most of the seam sealing done. So went back and ground these clean and welded these holes shut. Here's where the trim tabs go for the chrome trim pieces. The little plastic tabs that those mount to are riveted through holes, and I won't be using those pieces. So I welded them shut. This is not bare metal, this is actually gray epoxy. Just finished brushing it on. I'll paint over it with a spray gun whenever it comes time to paint again, obviously. So seam sealing. I went ahead and seam sealed some of these frame rail pieces. Like I said, I really don't know what all's supposed to be seam sealed. And I know factory didn't seam seal everything. I've seen some videos where people will go and show what the factory actually seam sealed, and then they kind of tell you some of the things you should go and do more of. But I'm pretty much just seam sealing anywhere where two pieces of metal overlap. So I'm probably overkilling the shit of it, like I said before. But all this is seam sealed. Haven't moved the inside of the firewall yet. All this is pretty much hidden from sight with the fender. So, like I said, I'm not taping anything that's not visible. I'm not taping off. To me, it just seems like a waste of time. It's not a show car. I'm trying to make it nice looking and essentially an auto touring car. I mean, a pro touring car. Sorry. Like pro touring style, so it'll be showy looking, resto modded, but able to hit the track, fully capable. It's not just going to be all show and no go. I plan on, I mean, obviously I've already said some of the suspension stuff I'm doing, the brake stuff I'm doing, the motors just forged, plain rebuilt case, but stock crank, stock case, forged internals, cammed, built to, in that sense. But I plan on turboing that motor and seeing what I can get out of it. And I probably will end up going with a man of war block come time to do another engine. I don't really know for sure what yet, whether it be a 302 or 351. I'm really tempted to go with one of those 454 strokers that I recently saw some videos of. That sounds pretty nasty. I'm quite interested, but I don't know if my wallet's deep enough for that yet. But anyway, so this is all seam sealed. Under there, seam sealed. My next step will be spraying the underbody and moving to seam sealing this internal side, the internal engine bay area. These pieces down in there, all along on the firewall. The cowl piece has already been seam sealed. I've seam sealed this little piece here. I don't know, I'm probably gonna end up pulling this hinge, these bolts loose, so I can swing it out so I can get it without getting it on the hinges. Hopefully I won't lose much door alignment doing that, but I mean, the doors will end up coming off again, I'm sure anyways, and I'll have to adjust alignment regardless. But so let me roll this thing over so you can see the underbody. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Well, it's a lot heavier than it looks. So anyways, all this is seam sealed up, and you see all the green splatter shit that's all over the car. I went ahead and internal frame coated everything that could be now because I knew it was gonna run out, and I don't want that looking nasty whenever the car's done. So, I mean, granted, I don't think many people are gonna be looking under the car, but I mean, I plan on showing off the suspension work that I'm spending so much time and money doing. So it'll eventually get looked under. So I don't want to see green runny shit underneath, obviously, and I'm not gonna do the lizard skin or undercoating. Contemplated it, and from everything I've read, it's just a rust trap. Eventually it'll crack or come loose, and all it does is trap moisture, and it'll just lead to more rust. From what I've read, just epoxy it and go with it. Sound deaden from the inside, not from the outside. What I may do is do like a rubberized coating in the wheel wells, and that's it. But I'm still not positive on that. I'll probably do just something light, like maybe the rubberized rust encapsulator, just like some 3M spray texture stuff, just to kind of hide the seam seal in the wheel well area and give a little bit of a sound deadening. But anyway, so I coated the insides of this, the rear, the old rear shock support. I coated inside of all these frame rails. Looks like this one didn't get hit in this hole. There's a block on each side. I just didn't feed it inside of this hole, so I'll get that before I paint as well. But all the frame rails were done. These were done, these front floor supports. Inside the torque boxes were done. Inside the front frame rails were done. And the rear torque boxes were done. I fed inside of that as well through these little holes here. And I think it was just through that hole. I don't think there's one down low you can get to. But yeah, I just fed in through these and sprayed the shit out of all of that. Also sprayed inside of the rockers through these little drop holes. There's one here, one at the end here. And then also fed it through these little fender castle nuts or cage nut holes. But, excuse me. So I sprayed all that. What I ended up doing with these, I'm still not sure if I'm gonna like. I might end up having to redo my whole trunk area later where my fuel tank goes, just because I don't necessarily like the way it's sitting. But, so inside of here, I just caked in seam sealer and sealed it in. I also sealed it in from this top all the way around and then caked it in this nasty gunk. I don't know if the lighting will hit right, but all that's sealed off in there. Same thing in this little cubby here, that's sealed off. Hopefully that doesn't end up getting cracks and like water catch in there and build up. Same thing down here. Sealed up, sealed up. So from the top side, I don't know if you can make it out, but I actually bent this flange down, ran a thick seam of, or thick bead of seam sealer in this gap, and then took a rubber mallet and hammered this back up. So each end, and then I ran a brush in between here and just kind of sloped it up and out so it'd be coated. Same here, you can see it better up here with the light, but it kind of darkens, but it's sealed all the way back. I did the same thing, built the seam up, closed it off all the way. So all of that's sealed up. I don't remember on the car originally if these were closed. I don't know how you'd close them. I'm leaving them open as a water escape. They have this one at the end, this little drip, but I'd rather the end be open for water, you know, obviously will flow back when I hit the gas if there's any that builds up in there. But it was a pretty big gap on each one. I'm not gonna try to seam seal that. I wasn't gonna try to weld it. It's just gonna stay open there. I don't think it'll be an issue. I also sprayed inside of each one of these just to coat underneath the seat support and to give a little bit of coating. The bottom of the floor pan was sprayed with epoxy. The bottoms of the seat platforms I think were epoxied as well, but I could tell it looked like there was some areas that didn't coat well or that were just painted. I might have just hit it with like a self-etch primer or something, I don't even remember. But I went ahead and coated it with some rust encapsulator or internal frame coating stuff. And just because I know these plugs that go in here aren't gonna seal it up perfect always necessarily. So I'd rather have some extra in there. I might end up spraying some of that not zero rust, Eastwood sells it. It's like a gel spray almost. It doesn't harden, it's what they use for inside of rockers and inside of door panels. Let's see if I can get this to go back. All right. There we go, locking mechanism. So, that's where it's at. I did go ahead and order some parts. I ordered my control arms. Lower and upper control arm, they'll be powder coated, and I also ordered the spindles. Next will probably be the shocks, just so I can get that mounted all up. And soon after that will be the brakes probably for the front. But I want to make sure I'm all finished up with the underbody before I even mount any of that up. And then I'll be going to pick up some rear ends from over at my mom's house and stripping them down to prep to do the rear axles. But anyways, that'll be for another video. But that's where I'm at, guys. Any questions, tips, input, etc., ask away, post away. Thanks for watching.